All right. Here we go with the PM session of the Silver Bullet. And the problem I'm having is I'm just not confident on which direction I think it's going to go. But the Silver Bullet trading strategy, at the times you're supposed to take the trades, here in the PM session at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, New York City, 2 to 3, we have to know what direction the market is going. At least have some kind of idea where the market might be going. And my problem is I've been trying to figure that out all day. Here in the hourly chart, you can see how choppy it's been for days. And every time it sweeps the liquidity at the top, actually, you know what's interesting here is it hasn't really swept the liquidity at the top here. It's creating, well, it did over here. It's creating lower and lower highs, right? And it keeps sweeping the bottom for the last few days. So I think it wants to sweep down lower because it's making lower highs and lower lows in this area. Now, it does look like a bull flag on the day chart, which means it could any moment take off and keep going higher. So we have all those elements to consider when we're thinking, okay, which way does this thing want to go? But recently, it's just been chopping right through here. It took out the lows down here, it took out the highs up here, and it's just back and forth, and it's very difficult to get a gauge on where we think the draw on liquidity is. Very important for the Silver Bullet trading strategy. And if we don't know, it's very likely we can't really take a confident trade. We can try to take based off momentum and based off maybe moving averages or some other trend lines or some other kind of support. We can go, okay, let's take a trade. Now, right here on this chart, the 5-minute chart, we could look at this and go, the double bottom here, this has just been swept here. It looks like it wants to go over this and just make that our decision. This is going to go over this way, and we think it's going to try for this high, right? But, and I just, look, it swept it swept the lows here, and it went over these highs, right? It didn't come down here and sweep this low, right? So is that really where it wants to go first before it were to go back over the top? Remember, it's making lower and lower highs, although it hasn't really come up into this area here to keep making a lower high. Sometimes trend lines are very useful, not that you necessarily need to take a trade on them, but just to kind of get a grip of where, the, the lows are being created. And if there's an empty space over here, then it's likely in this scenario that it still could go high before it goes low. We just don't know. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't know since I don't have a real strong bias of direction, which way this thing could go. Just take the trades that present themselves and hopefully get multiple time charts to agree on that. So in this case, if we were to say it's going to go up before it goes down, then we would be looking for fair value gaps and entry points for the bullish entry, right? And that's what we had right here, fair value gap and a bullish entry based on that right there. Boom. Ride it up to the top and keep going. Maybe it'll go over the top of that. Maybe that's where it wants to go, at least to go over the top of this. If this is a failed higher high and it swings lower, then it's going to break that pivot and it's going to come back down into this area here and into the bottom, right? So again, I have no idea where it really wants to go. Here's that fair value gap on the 15-second chart. Here's where it tested and went up, right? Here it's testing another fair value gap right here, right now. As a matter of fact, this would be a good place to try
Order
to
filled.
enter that. Let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to put my stop right underneath it. We'll see if it works. There we go, fair value gap. Hopefully it'll keep going. If it's going up, I could break. That behavior is not going up.
Stop filled.
So this is it. I don't know where it's going. I'm not going to keep guessing and taking losses here. So we did take a reasonable trade. It was a fair value gap right here on the 15-second chart. It came back to test it, right? There's one down here that works, so I figured, why not? This one worked. Fair value gap tested, went up. Tried this one here. It failed. Okay, so I don't think that I was way off. Maybe it's coming back down to this one. Maybe I should give it another try. It's definitely possible. We could try that right now. See that behavior? Okay, see, I would have been stopped out again if I tried that. I would, and the way it's moving this quickly, it would have stopped that out right there. See, this is where it starts moving too darn fast for me. You know, it was going real good. Okay, so, okay, let's take a look at our bias again. Hourly chart sideways, 5-minute chart. Perhaps it's coming back down here. It broke that pivot. Or maybe it's only sweeping this pivot before it goes back up. This is how whacked out price can be sometimes. I mean, it can really, really put your head in a spin. So see this pivot here. And now these new pivots up here are being created. So what we have is it just cooling down before it goes back up? Or is it really going to go back down to this level? That is the question.
Order filled.
I'm going to take my chance here. And I'm going to use this as my stop loss right here. All right. Target's back up here to the high. All right. If it works, this is my last trade on this. I'm not going to keep losing over and over on it. And I guess I'm doing it because I'm seeing that it's just a head fake to the bottom, but I could be wrong. Here it comes. And it's going to stop me out, I can tell.
Stop filled.
Okay, that's two in a row. I'm done. So what I was trying to do is get the fair value gap, trying to get this bounce here, trying to get it to go back up to test these highs. And here it is whipping down through there again. And something's definitely telling me that it does not want to go down the way it's acting here. Fair value gap right here. Nope, don't see one. There's one down here on the 5-minute chart. I guess I could give that a try. All this is because I think it's going to go up. Let's take a look at this. Fibonacci here, it's almost to 50%. And look at that. All right, let's pause it and wait for a setup. That price action is moving so fast, and it is there.
Order filled.
I'll take a stab at it. This fair value gap here on the 5-minute chart came down 62, almost 76%. Hopefully it'll go up. My stop is right underneath that pintail right there. Well, that algorithm is something else, isn't it? I closed my position. I don't like the way that candle formed, so I got out of the trade, and it would have stopped me out. So thank goodness. You can see where I got in and where I got out. Got in right here, got out right here. This was a loss, and this was a loss. Small stop losses. I'm looking for that home run hit to the upside. And obviously it's not going up. Okay, there's an order block area down here though, and I'm looking to try that out one more time. If I can get down there, it may have hit it. I'm looking at this area right here. This block, at least this area right here, looks like a good solid order block area, and that's if I believe this is not going to be violated. Right? Because if we're under the impression that this is going to be violated, which it could be, why would it not be? It's been making lower lows, and because right here it swept this area, and this is a daily area, and I think that it's possible that it's going to go back up before it goes back down, but I don't know why I would be convinced of that with this kind of activity right here. Because it can go either way. Almost taking a trade right now is almost gambling, really, because it's virtually impossible to say for certainty which way it's going to go. Okay, we took those first two trades, loss, break even, and now I'm in another trade here where I think I found something that might work. Hopefully it will keep going up. I don't know if I should just take my profit here. I'm break even on it, so we'll see. If this one does not work, then I have to stop trading according to my rules, and so we better get this to work. The reason why I like this trade, and this is where I was waiting for it to come down, I just jumped in too early, was this looks like a decent order block here, and next to this breaker area. So it kind of serves as a double bottom with two seemingly important patterns and shapes and stuff. So I'm going to take it
Order
I'm going
filled.
to take it off. I think I made a decent little move there, and it could just simply be that I want to make back everything that I lost. So that's not always a good reason to exit your trade, but I just, all day long, I have not trusted this market. Well, it looks like I should have not taken that last trade, so I'm going to be happy with that right there. You can see how many trades I took. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades, and I got out right up there just before it starts to come down. Now, I don't know if it's going to keep going up or not, but I can't afford to keep trading recklessly, so I think I'm break even. Let me check. Yep, $10.34. Okay, so that's what we did today. By the time you pay commissions, I'm break even. Almost tried this trade right here when it came down, put my stop underneath. I almost tried that to see if I can go long on it, and it came down so fast it would have stopped me out as soon as I entered in. So I'm glad I didn't enter in there. Stop was right here, and I wanted to enter in when it came back down to the bottom. As soon as it came right here, it just shot down so fast. And there's a fair value gap right here, but it's violated it right here. There is, I don't see a fair value gap down here unless you count this little teeny slither right here. And that may be what it's used. Yep. That little teeny tiny slither could be the fair value gap that it's using to go long again. And boy, there was that a close call on that particular trade. Oh, I see on the 1 minute chart, it had a fair value gap right here that it came down to. That's the same area right here on the 15-second chart. So we had an agreement between the 15-second and the 1 minute chart. Nothing too much agreeing here on the 5 minute chart, except, you know, this fair value gap down here was respected at the same time. So yeah, we got another reason. Well, no, that's a separate moment in time, but the whole area is agreeing that it looks like it wants to go up at least temporarily. How high, I do not know, and could just simply be a head fake to the downside. This market today has been so choppy. Okay, I did try right here, fair value gap on the 15-second chart. Looked like it wanted to go up. And also on the minute chart, it had this fair value gap right here. It was testing it with that one candle. I put my stop right there, just as very, very close as can be. Looks like it tailed back into this area here, though. So this is where the real support could be. Okay, we're trying a dip here. Got in real good. Hopefully it won't stop me out. If it does, I have to stop trading. Hopefully it'll go right back up. Come on, go up there. And it's at the lower end of this fair value gap, the bottom part. Hopefully, you know, it'll go back up. We can break even now on this trade. So there you go, break even.
Order filled.
I'll take whatever I can get out of it. Here it comes back down right after that. Man, that's crazy. So this trade was a loss, and this trade was a gain for the same amount. I'm still about break even for the day. Well, I would have been stopped out of that trade had I not gotten out, so I'm glad I did. All right, hopefully this is finally a home run hit here. I am wanting this to, I'm down $10, but I've been over trading, it looks like. I mean, that's a lot of trades trying to catch the bottom of this thing. And I'm not even sure if I have, because we're going to try to, it swept here and it swept this. Well, it didn't quite come down to that, did it? That's a double bottom right there. Let's see what the low of that is, and we'll see right now what's going on, if that's a double bottom or not. That is a perfect double bottom. Perfect double bottom. It's the exact same price right down to the tick. So this will be interesting to see. Hopefully this will hold. If this holds, we should have at least a run to the top side for a little bit here. All right, so we have a displacement and a fair value gap tested. Hopefully it'll break this trend line. It's been having some trouble with this trend line right here. Last time it tried to break it right here, it just slammed right down. I mean, things can't go down forever, but they sure can go down for a long, long time. So hopefully it'll get up there. Our target is to the top of this area right here, near this area right here. So we'll see what happens. Well, I put it on break even because it broke that trend
Stop
line,
filled.
and we broke even on that trade. There's no reason for me to take a loss on it. Still waiting to get some idea of the bounce. It swept that area. It swept that area. So let's see here. It swept this, but it hasn't swept this yet. So, and then on the 60-minute chart, we know that it's been sweeping lower and lower, but sometimes it'll come close and go up. It swept that area, but it didn't sweep that area. As soon as it swept this little pivot here, it went up. Then it finally came down and swept that area, right? And it's been making lower and lower lows. So all day long, I should have been knowing in my mind that this 60-minute chart is the thing to follow here. Okay. So me trying to catch the bottom is just counter trend trading, counterproductive. Although there are some great strategies and trend line breaks in certain times when it does bounce, and it creates patterns for that bounce that are pretty good, pretty strong, and pretty hard to deny. So I still am looking for that trend line break strategy just for a quick bounce up. Okay, I know I keep saying this, but this is my last trade. If this does not work, I have to stop.
Stop filled.
And I'm out. I'm done. Let's see what the damage is on this particular. Okay, we finally got a big little trade off the bottom here. Sold at the pivot when it came up to the top here. These last two turtle soup trades that I tried to grab, one of them finally worked. So the question is, yes, I'm over trading, but did I win or did I lose? Let's take a little peek here and find out. We're up $5 after commissions. I'm down a little bit after all those trades. And I probably could stay in longer and actually do something, but I need to stop for psychological reasons. It's almost 3 o'clock, so the silver bullet hour is over, and I am not going to take any more trades. I don't want to turn this into a big loss day. Minus the commissions, I'm pretty much break even on all those trades. Over trading, video gaming, yes, a little bit. I was taking reasonable trades. I was just trying to fight it down here at the bottom too much. And this is where it started to really get video gamey, after I just kept trying to find the bottom. And find the bottom, find the bottom, find the bottom. Now that does look like a nice reversal candle there, I will admit. And if this candle closes higher than this candle, we have a swing low here, and that would be a good setup for the next candle to be bullish. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see what happens. If it does close bullish, it's a 5-minute candle.